Hey guys, I know that most of you probably know me for the shooty bang hunt showdown content or Dead by Daylight, and you're probably thinking, listen Alan, where's my bounty, where are my sick headshots, where are my mad outplays? And to that I say to you, hey, this is a game about NPCs and having fun. Gosh, not everything is about murder and outsmarting your opponents, silly. So stay with me, stay with me, stay with me, stay with me, because I can absolutely positively assure you that Deceive Incorporated is not only a vibrant, lively, and refreshing take on the FPS genre, it's also just a ton of fun. So, if you're new to the channel from this video, hi, hello, it's nice to meet you. I'm Alan, and I'm a clown on the internet for money. And if you're a regular, then you'll know I've got an interest in your non-traditional shooter, and Deceive Incorporated absolutely falls into that camp. It kind of, it almost feels reductive, honestly, to call Deceive Incorporated an FPS, because that would be like riding a cow and calling it a mode of transportation, similar to a horse. Whilst it is technically accurate, it wouldn't be fair to call your steak a means from getting from A to B. Now, don't get me wrong, you'll absolutely do a lot of shooting in Deceive Incorporated. I mean, those NPCs and guards sure didn't see that coming, but it won't be the main focus like your Call of Duty, Tarkov, and Hunt showdowns. Instead, the majority of your game time will be spent not shooting as much as possible. I hear you, right? You're like, but Alan, that's exactly how I play Hunt. Yeah. I know. That sounds similar, right? It sounds similar to your Hunt showdowns, etc. But don't worry, because what you'll actually be doing is spending your time pretending to be Chef Boyardee in a suit, who then loses a bunch of weight and turns into your hot neighbor. But hey, remember this disguise mechanic. Remember it, because we'll come back to it. The objective in Deceive Incorporated is to capture a golden briefcase and to bring it to an extraction. To achieve this, you can don disguises of the NPCs around the map and use them to access areas regular civilians can't. There is only one golden briefcase per map. Trying to extract with it is 9 times out of 10 where the shooting from guards is bound to occur. When you pick up this briefcase, this case to the exit and extract, avoiding the mountains of guards that are trying to murder you. This cat and mouse turn to hunter becomes the hunted is still as thrilling as it is in other titles. Potentially, and I want to stress this, so I'll repeat it, potentially more thrilling, as the ability to not get one-tapped at 200 meters from a bushwalkie definitely adds to the feeling of player accessibility. I mean, that's the overall objective of Deceive Incorporated. But how do we get there? What exists between spawning in and extracting the map? This is the core part of what separates Deceive Incorporated from other traditional shooters, with the game playing like a mashup of The Ship meets Overwatch. At the time of writing this, there are 9 playable characters in Deceive Incorporated. You pick one of them, pick your weapons, your gadgets, your traits or perks, and then you deploy into the map solo, or Upon spawning in, your objective is pretty simple. Locate and deactivate the 3 vault terminals scattered around the map, giving you access to the vaulted area where the briefcase resides. The vault terminal locations are labeled A through E, giving you 5 possible spawn locations for them. However, the terminals themselves will only exist within 3 of them. The 3 terminals that need to be deactivated are map-wide, meaning that once they've all been deactivated, the vault area itself will open. Beforehand, I touched on choosing your perks and traits. This isn't your traditional perk system because you don't spawn in with them on your character. Instead, you find them inside safes on the map. Now, this sounds counterintuitive, and I can hear the comment section already. What? I have to find the perks that I've chosen for myself inside safes that are locked that I need to open with materials that I need to collect in-game? Yes, that's correct. But stick with me and I'll explain why it's a brilliant design choice. Scattered everywhere around the map, you'll find intel. This is stored on your person and can be spent to unlock those safes, as well as locked doors. The cost of opening these all correspond with its color. So, if it's gray, it's 1, green, it's 3, blue, it's 5, and anything purple is 8. Your perks and the safe they're locked behind are also color-coded with the time-honored MMO grading system. Your gray perk is locked behind a gray safe, your green is behind a green safe, and so on. These perks form a perk deck and are all variations on the same bonuses, ranging from a higher ammo capacity to greater amounts of health to your character's ability cooldown being faster, with the bonuses themselves all being the same. However, the amount of percentage bonus varies depending on the rarity that you've chosen. So, it's up to you to build your perk deck how you want to play it. Do you value having more ammo? Then make that bonus a higher rarity, such as blue or purple. Do you want to have a faster hacking speed but don't really need it to be massive? Then put that down as a gray. The brilliance of this system comes into play in 2 major ways. Number 1, The color of the safe dictates the location it can spawn. Gray, common, being on the street level. However, green is found in the staff room. Blue in the guard rooms. Purple inside technician labs, vault terminals without a vault. And yellow, the rarest, being from one of the 3 vault terminals and nowhere else. And number 2. To get inside these areas with the safes, anything outside of a green one is in an area that is highly likely patrolled by guards at some point. Meaning that if you want your highly desired perk or trait, then you're going to need to go into that area, which is dangerous to get it. Whew. That's pretty it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's the game. Just spawn in, open things, and get to the exit. It's happy. It's happy fun times. That's the game. The very video you're watching, much like the game itself, has been a deception. My entire description, up until this point, a disguise, a ruse, an obfuscation of the truth from those who weren't yet ready to see, and me deliberately turning away those who don't have the perception and patience for this game. A mystery, wrapped in an enigma, surrounded by the fog of intrigue. Let me show you the truth.
The objective in Deceive Incorporated is to capture a golden briefcase and bring it to an extraction before any other player can get away with it. To achieve this, you can don disguises of the NPCs around the map, use them to access areas regular civilians can't. But all of the 11 other players can and will be doing the same thing. Only one golden briefcase on the map, so competition for it is sure to arise. To extract with it is 9 times out of 10 where the shooting from guards and players is bound to occur. Pick up this briefcase. All players on the map are alerted to your location as you'll be pinged every few seconds. The goal is to take this briefcase to the exit and extract, avoiding the mountains of guards and players that are trying to murder you. 3 terminals that need to be deactivated are map-wide, meaning that they can be done by any player, and it will count towards unlocking the vault for everyone. So, to get inside these areas with the safes, anything outside of a green one is in an area that is highly likely to be visited by another player and patrolled by guards at some point. Meaning that if you want your highly desired perk or trait, then you're going to need to go into that area, which is dangerous to get it.
You see those NPCs I'm transforming into? So are the 11 other players on the map. You see those NPCs moving around the map. Any of them at any point could also be another player. The NPC standing, staring, looking at you could also be a player. Did you see someone move suspiciously? Maybe they performed an action that an NPC just wouldn't do. Is that NPC bugging out? Or is it a player intentionally trying to look like an NPC so you drop your guard? Because that is all it takes. They shoot you, you take damage, panicked, you run to the nearest health station to heal yourself. However, they've predicted that, and they're already hot on your heels. You look behind you, you see 8 NPCs, 9, 10 of them, they're all running away panicked because they were just gunshots. But how many of them are players? How many of them are real? How many of them are NPCs? You quickly transform disguises, but who saw you transform? How safe are you really? Oh, and that briefcase I mentioned before? The one that there's only one of. Well, other than being alerted to everyone's presence, the briefcase holder also gains the ability to see all other players in a certain radius by pressing a button at the cost of consuming some of your stored intel. Now, if you've played other games on Showdown, this is exactly the same as enhanced dark side mechanic. So, to add to that tension, when you scan other players, you don't see the disguise they're currently using, you just see their outline, meaning you can know where they are, but you'll never know who they are hiding as. This game of cat and mouse and tension building is absolutely wonderful because it always comes to a boiling point. All of those perks I mentioned before from the safes, the terminals you need to deactivate, well, you don't have to go into those areas if you don't want. You can be observant and hunt other players who have completed it. Then just follow them, murder them, pick it up, let them do the hard work. Personally, I like to break down each player into one of the 3 camps in Deceive Incorporated. One is what I'm calling the collector. This is the type of player who rushes the objective to acquire their perks as soon as possible. They're usually pretty confident in their abilities, or they just want to get the case quickly to force everyone to a fight. 2, I'm calling the hunter. This is the type of player who tracks others down. They don't necessarily always go for the objective. Sometimes they sit down and wait. Sometimes they just wait for someone else to do something suspicious. Sometimes they camp the objective. Sometimes they camp the exits. You don't really know what they're going to do other than they are patient and they're hoping to catch you unaware. And 3rd is the vulture. This is the type of player who usually waits until the last moment to engage. You usually don't even know they exist until the end of a firefight, when the victor will go into loot, only to get shot down by the patient vulture waiting in the corner. Some characters are trackers who excel at finding other players. Some are brawlers who excel in firefights. Some are scoundrels who excel at disappearing and being stealthy. There is a character for each type of playstyle in Deceive Incorporated, and so far, no matter what character you're playing, all playstyles are totally viable, even though all characters work differently. This game has been consuming my life, and I love it. There is a ton more I could talk about, but I'm not going to, because I truly hope you give this a shot for yourself. So go and pick it up. I promise you won't regret it, and I'll see you out there. Also, devs, if you hear this, oh my god, for the love of Christ, can we have an Australian spy? Please, just give us an Australian. We're so very underrepresented in games, media, everything. I mean, come on, the quotes when we change disguises write themselves. I mean, come on. You get someone who transforms into a guard. They could just be like, yeah, not bad. Good fit. You know, it doesn't matter. It writes themselves. Anyway, cheers, okay? Good chat. Give us an Aussie, okay? Mwah. See you guys.